It's Kevin Walker from 93.1 The Buzz here in Muscatine, hanging with Eugene Levy, some of my favorite guys and one of my favorite bands right now. And I'll tell you what, maybe, 4 months ago?
Sure.
I get a Facebook message from this guy. I don't know anything about him, don't know anything about the band. He's like, hey, we're a local band. Would you like to, could we send you some music? And I'm like, okay, I've never heard that before. So I get it, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is good. I'm like, this is you guys, right? Yeah, so I'm like, let's talk. And eventually, we're playing the stuff on the radio, and we've talked about with COVID, you can't see the band live. So we decided we're going to bring a little intimate gathering for you to watch the band play. We're going to talk to the guys about some of the stuff going on. We're at Muscatine Community College at Muscatine Access Channel 9. We're in the studios here. Chad was kind enough to invite us in, and Jeremy is here. And we're just gonna have a good time. I want to thank Muscatine Power and Water and the college for helping us get this together. Let's just start at the beginning. Tell me about how the band came together.
It formed without me at first. This was Brian Martinez, Brian Wilson, and former drummer Bryn Arnold, and the bass player now, obviously, continually, Nick Himes. So before I was here, it was Brian played guitar and sang. Brian Wilson on guitar, Nick Himes on the bass, Bryn Arnold on the drums, and it didn't start out as this serious. Did it?
Yeah. It formed from like this concept I had from my old band was like very like sad songs, and very like emotional songs, and I was like, let's start something fun. Because I've never done that, and that's kind of where it was birthed from. Was like let's just write some fun songs and see what happens with those fun songs.
Is the sound of the band the pop punk kind of mixture where it's a little bit of heavy riff, there's some melodicness, there's some love, there's some alternative there? Is that on purpose?
Lyrically, 100%. Like I grew up listening to like Blink-182 and Green Day and all these punk bands, and then it wasn't until like I want to say the last like 10 years of my life, which it's very short and a lot of sand, but where I really learned to appreciate like pop music. I already liked pop music, but it was like I just love rap music. I love people like Juice WRLD and things like that. And so it's like, why not incorporate that music into what we're doing? And part of it came from like inspiration from our friends. Like there's a band called 5 AM, and they do a really good job of like mixing rap and rock together and like that style. And so when I heard them do it, I was like, maybe I could try some of that too. And so we're really lucky because like we can just draw any influence from whatever we like.
And I think it also caters to a multitude of listeners, you know what I mean? So not only do we cater to the 30 to 40-year-old bar crowd or the older gentlemen or women who came, from that Blink-182 old style, Green Day and this and that, but we also cater to the new school kids, that second generation of pop lovers of, that sort of thing. So a lot of what we do is when I write some of the music, it's a catchy riff, you know what I mean? Very pop oriented. It's not very riff heavy. It's kind of riff heavy, but it's not, So I write to where he can write a pop melody, so it's easy for him to explore and write, and be big with it, So we want a big punchy chorus, and we want a dialed back verse with a catchy vocal melody. And so what I allot him is the space to present the catchiest and straightforward melodies. So vocal melodies are what drives Eugene Levy. And then you're going to also have that little bit of riffage in the back, but it's not overwhelming.
All right, let's talk about the single that we're playing at the Buzz, Mankind, which is the short title.
Sure.
Let's talk about the actual full title. How'd that come out? Which of you guys is the big wrestling fan?
That's
really.
definitely me, man. I mean, so I really like early Fall Out Boy and things like that, and those bands wrote really long titles that are just almost unnecessary, but at the same time, like they have a special place in your heart. And it comes a place from like emo and like pop punk bands have been doing that for a long time. And so that title, it went through a lot of phases. Like I knew it was gonna feature the name Mankind. I knew that. But like at one point it was like The Rock versus Mankind, Royal Rumble, and it was the year that happened. And I was like, that doesn't work. And I kind of wanted The Rock in there, but I couldn't find a good place for it. And so I just thought, man, like that match was so gruesome. And that's what the song truly is about. It's like life's gonna get you down every chance it can get. Everything is gonna get you down every chance it can get. But as long as you keep getting back up and you keep fighting, no matter what, that's where the spirit of that all came from, because you just have to keep coming back up. And that's why that whole title is called I'm Like Mankind in the Way That I Never Said I Quit.
First time you were in the studio when we debuted it on the Buzz in the morning show, I was like, off the air, I was like, what's the deal with the title? Why is it so long? And you kind of explained it to me, and we had a good laugh, and I'm like, can we just call it Mankind on the air? And he's like, yeah.
You know how many stations do that? Every station calls it Mankind.
We call it Mankind.
Yep, very good.
On the set list, it's
on the set
Mankind.
list,
So
Mankind.
yeah, but yeah, you know, this is probably one of the songs that we have on our set, you know, to date that actually I think relates to somebody's everyday life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Getting knocked down, life sucks a bit. You know, you've got your ups and your downs, but continuing to get back up and fight. You know, live another day, fight another day, that sort of thing. So it's a relatability thing, man.
But what's interesting about music, that's what the song's about. You know what I like about it is that it's short, and the guitar riffs and the vocals,
yeah,
it's just that perfect short pop punk song. And again, when I first heard it, I'm like, no way these guys are local. These guys are way too polished. This sounds way too good. And here we are 500-600 spins later on the radio station, and it's one of our most requested songs. Listeners in town and out in the county, into the Quad Cities love it. And it is a song that we can play on the radio that it doesn't alter or deviate from what we're doing. And to me, that's the biggest compliment I could give you, is that it fits in with everything else.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to how we're really refining what we sound like. Like when we started before Cameron, it was very, very early 2000s. I wanted to sound like an early 2000s band. And once Cameron kind of joined in, he had this newer sound that he wanted to do, like this edgier sound, I would almost say. And then I feel like with the new songs that we've been writing and Mankind, he's done a really good job of like putting together that early 2000s with a little bit of modern, and making it sound exactly how we both want it to sound, like all of us want us to sound. And I like it really shines through on Mankind and the new song we're working on and whatnot too.
All right, we're here at Muscatine Community College in the Channel 9 studios. Let's hear the track, all right?
Let's do
play
it. Let's do it.
What up, Muscatine Access Channel 9? This song is called I'm Like Mankind in the Way That I Never Said I Quit. I'll take this, then I'll stand up. I'll take this and get up and keep my name off of your tongue. If breathing is telling the truth, it wouldn't make it past your lungs. They'll
Kevin Walker from 93.1 The Buzz. We're back here at Muscatine Community College in the Channel 9 studios. Got the guys from Eugene, Levy. You heard Mankind, the single that's blowing up, putting them on the map. Not just here, but that's the cool thing. We're getting people that are excited about it in Iowa City and Cedar Rapids and the Quad Cities. Talk about song titles. How do you guys, obviously when we talk about that, it was inspired from an event, a wrestling event. But how do you come up with other song titles? Because I noticed that some of your other song titles are not 2 or 3 words. They're a little bit longer. How do you guys come up with them?
My favorite thing to do is think of what the song is at its core and take just a shred of that and find a title from it.
Okay.
Like we have another song where it's talking about like, specifically it's about my now fiance. She was out of school and she was away. So I wrote this whole song about how like it's really hard when you're away from somebody. And I knew it was about her, so I decided to name the song Vanderveer Park, which is actually even like probably the shortest song title we have. But like it's very loosely about that because it was a special moment in her and my life, and we were walking around Vanderveer Park and whatnot. And so that's kind of what I do with song titles is I think of what is this song about, and then how can I put like a fun title that some people will think is fun, maybe at least I do think it's fun, and just a shred of what the song is about. It's kind of what I do.
And I think a lot of people around here obviously know of Vanderveer Park, right? So it's a
exactly
relatability
it makes
as well.
Sense.
Sure.
Yeah, that's true. When it comes to song titles, then, are they easy to come up with? So if I said to you, look, I lost my dog in the backyard in the snow today, what would the song title be? Can you do it like that, or is it like take you weeks to come up with it?
It takes me weeks.
Okay, so you get back to me about my dog. I might find my dog by the time you come up with the song title.
Without question.
For sure.
All right, okay.
And then if you found your dog, like that could be a plethora of like song
See, there you go.
titles, you know?
It's like I was sad, now I'm happy.
Here's where I found my dog. I found him here with this and that, and so that would go
Exactly.
into also the song title.
Like I even have a song title that's longer, the longest song title I've ever written that is for a song we haven't released yet. Such
So
a
yeah,
long
there's a
song
lot to
title.
come, I guess.
It's like it's the poet in him that's coming out.
Absolutely.
It's like the creative part.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's hear this song. The title is just Vanderveer Park.
That's correct.
All right, so let's hear it right now.
Vanderveer Park. I woke up today and I thought to myself, I need you here. We go grab a beer, won't fall asleep till the sun comes up, hoping the sun never comes. Don't you know that things don't work out the way that we want them to? But I know now more than ever that I need you. You live so far away. When we come back to me, I don't know how much longer we can take this. You live so far away. I'll spend the rest of my days and nights dreaming of you, like last night. The Rancherita Big River, I really wish I was with her. We would be doing nothing at all. Instead of waiting by the phone, listen for the call. I don't need nobody to say oxygen when the fall. Watch the leaves fall off the trees. 24 ounces and you and me, don't you know that things don't work out the way that we want them to? But I know now more than ever that I need you. You live so far away. When we come back to me, I don't know how much longer we can take this. You live so far
We're here with the Eugene Levy Band. We're bringing you some music that you've heard if you follow the band, either online, Spotify, wherever. That's the funny thing now is that you don't have to just listen to a radio station to be able to follow a band. You and I have had this conversation. Yeah, I love radio. I've been to radio forever. It does help. But in today's world, explain to me, and this is what I think you guys are doing well. You guys have got social media on point. You've got the promo on point. You reached out to the radio station. You're available when I see come on the morning show. You're not like, well, I'm going to be sleeping at 6:30. You're ready to go. You guys have got it down.
Yep.
In 2021 where Spotify is your radio station too.
Absolutely.
Apple Music, TikTok, all those things. How have you guys managed to put that together? Because really, 15 years ago, you needed a record label and a couple of radio stations. Now, you need all those other channels, and you guys seem to have mastered that. How did you do that?
I think we learned from every other band. The distribution websites out there, DistroKid, and so on and so forth. Everybody can do it on their own now. SoundCloud forever was its own little entity. To get on SoundCloud, you just upload like YouTube. This sort of thing, you need weeks. Spotify needs weeks, 6 weeks typically to release something, especially if you want it to be considered for their Spotify curated playlist, which is a big thing. You know what I mean? So it's not like, hey, Johnny's playlist. Hey, I want to put this song on our playlist. Well, not everybody hears that.
Yeah.
So when you're listening to shuffle radio stations on Spotify,
car, that's it.
you know what I mean? So that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You want to release. That's why you want to take your time and do that sort of thing. It's all strategy, man. And I'm telling you, we could go into this forever and ever and ever about how the music industry works nowadays and this and that. But it's a lot of studying, it's a lot of research, a lot of this and that, Q&A with other people who've done it before. It's a lot, man. It's a lot to put a song out.
And it takes more than one person.
Without question.
We got Brian. Brian, our guitarist. He does a lot of work for it. Cameron does a lot of work for it. Our friend Emil, we're working with him to get things out. It takes a multitude of people, not just one person.
Really, I mean, our social media is run by one guy, essentially. Well, Brian will do a couple of things here and there if we need to get something out right away. All of our campaign work, so if a single's coming out in a month, our campaign work will be Emil, and Emil will run our social media for that campaign. And he'll put together all the promo, he'll put together all the this and that and this and that, and then until the song releases, and then we'll run ads on Facebook, this and that, so we get to a multitude of audiences.
And see, that's where, for me, having dealt with local bands in the Quad Cities and Cedar Rapids and Des Moines and things like that didn't always have their stuff together.
Sure.
You guys seem to be a step ahead of it. It's like we like doing this, but it's in a way, it's like we want to approach it in a business. This is like, we like to do this, and we'd like to actually make a go of this.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of your local bands that you're talking about, they just want to keep it fun. They want to keep it local, and they don't have any ambitions to be anything else. Us, on the other hand, this is the group of guys that we got together, that want to take this to the next level and want to be that aspiration, So the lineup we have now is the most serious lineup we've had and are willing to take it to the next level, and it takes all hands on deck. Otherwise, this doesn't work.
Yeah.
And in reality, they do what they feel is best, and we're trying things out. I feel like every band is just trying things and seeing what works. And so they do what they do, and we're trying some stuff that we're trying, and
in an ever-changing industry, if you will.
Ever-changing industry, and with COVID and the pandemic, everything else is upside down.
Oh, my God.
So we're going to play another song here, then we'll come back. We'll talk about how you've survived COVID-19, maybe good and bad.
Sure.
Speakeasy. Tell me about this song. Look at him. Look at his eyes light up. He's like, yes.
I love this
song.
Let's go. No, I have such a deep love for this song because it kind of stemmed from our other song where it's almost like the sequel to our song Rivas, where it's like, what would I do if I had money, right? And so whenever it may be, and I have a lot of money and I have a house or a lot of debt, whatever works, I just want to invite all my friends over, and we're all gonna live easy because, life is hard, and as long as I can bring people up with me, then I know I did it right.
And we've had so many friends that have, who have been blessed with finances and this and that have just given the shirt off their backs for us, and you know what I mean. So it's a give back thing. So.
And you love what you do. I was reading Dave Grohl a couple weeks ago talking about how in the early days of Nirvana, I had $7 a day for Taco Bell and cigarettes. And that's all that mattered. It's like we all paid our rent, but if I had $7 a day for smokes and for Taco Bell, I was good. So to hear you talk about, to have a house or to do this or to have some, your perspective on what success is will change as the band succeeds.
Absolutely.
So, all right, let's hear this track. I'm excited.
Let's play it.
All right.
Living rent free is a lot like sleeping at the speakeasy.
Welcome back. I'm Kevin Walker from 93.1 The Buzz here in Muscatine. We're talking to some of the guys from Eugene Levy. It's Cameron, it's Brian. The other guys are still, they're watching. They're like, I'm not sure. I might go up, I might not. I know for sure Brian's back there. The other Brian, he's like,
never
he's
show his
not,
face.
Like, I'm going to be as far. He's in the control room. So he's like, you can't.
He's not even out here. Wow.
You can't even talk to me. COVID-19. It's been an incredibly crazy year.
Hard.
How has it been for the band? Other than you just know, like the last show you guys played was what, October, and that was almost like the only show you'd played in quite a while anyway.
It was actually in August.
Was it in August?
Yep,
Okay.
so it was in August. It was the last part of summer. It was Hollow Fest. It was in Sperry, Iowa. A guy that runs, that owns a lot of land, throws this little festival every year. People just go there, we camp, we have a good time. He's got a great sound guy that sets up, and we just play.
Yeah.
The last big show we played was in Chicago at the Bottom Lounge. Opened up for Bayside, which was a battle of the bands sort of deal, voting online sort of thing.
Yep.
And so that was the last big show we played. But yeah, it's been tough this year. No shows, none of that. A lot of the way that we make our money, is merch sales. So,
Yep.
If we can't sell merch at shows, there's not a whole lot of money to be thrown out, for the production. For their content, that sort of thing. So it's a lot of scrounging around in all five of us' pockets, to put something together. So it's been tough, but obviously with the help of you and the guys at Access 9 Muscatine, putting this stuff together, we can still be relevant and show everybody what they can't come see live. So
do you feel like you kind of doubled down on website, social?
Had to.
You guys have actually got some, Cooper's here somewhere. I tell you what, the behind the scenes video stuff you guys are doing, I love it. Because it gives someone, whether you're a musician or not, I don't know anything about playing music or whatever, but I like to watch that stuff because it just gives me a feeling that I know the band a little bit better. It's like, I want to see what you guys are doing, and it's like, wait a minute, they're like real human beings. They're in the studio, they're doing this, or they're whatever.
I think a lot of stuff's kind of hidden behind, people don't really understand what it takes to put a song out and what, you know what I mean? How we actually go through a demo. A demo goes to a different guy. We go up and write demos on, with a guy in Davenport on a separate day. We spend money with him to have him dial up everything, drums, bass, guitar, no vocals, obviously. And then he writes off of that. Then we go and schedule a time. Once everything's dialed in, we decided on a single, we decide on whatever.
Yeah.
Go to a separate engineer, which is our mix, master, and final recording guy. Spend money with him, So, I mean, this is a giant deal to get things done.
And
So it's nice for people to see behind.
If you're listening to that, you're knowing that a lot of local bands are like, well, we got Pro Tools in my garage, so we're going to go down and mix it down, and my neighbor got a pair of headphones, and I can mix it down.
I wish.
But by doing those things is what is making the band successful and giving you that edge over other bands who are trying to do the same thing.
A team is what you need.
You can't do it on your own,
No, sir.
and you need to have the right people who know what they're doing to support what you're doing.
Without question.
And there's some people who can write really well at home and get really good recordings at home.
Absolutely.
I know that none of us in Levy have that ability to do that. And so we work with people like our friend Sam Nelson and Aaron. It helps put together like good music, and I like to think it sounds good.
We all bring a different aspect to Levy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a decent songwriter instrumentally.
You're like the most mellow, low-key guy in the group. That's been the joke all day on set, that Cameron is like the most low-key guy in the group.
I know.
He's like, I'm
a
over it.
little intense, and I get it. But however, I think it comes out to that. This is my passion, man. I mean,
But it shows.
I've been playing guitar since I was
shows.
6 years old. I've wanted to be a rock star since I was a young kid, and I saw Creed for the first time and Collective Soul, and that's how old. You know what I mean? Like, so this has been a thing for me, man. The stage brings out something in me that nothing else can. It's, this side of having my child, nothing felt like being on stage.
Yeah.
So it's
parenthood's a whole different. That's a whole different thing. I mean, it's like the coolest thing ever. But it's so
question.
different. It's amazingly different. You're right.
Sure.
I'm good right now.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm
I'll
good.
wait for that.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
But when you get there, you'll like it. Trust me.
So this is a passion thing, man. We put everything into it. We care a lot about where we go as a band, and we don't want to live in regrets. And I can speak for everybody in this band.
Yeah.
That if we do something and we leave it on the table, we'll go back for years and years and years and say, what if we would have done this?
Sure.
So we try to eliminate that aspect in every release, every content release, anything we do.
So if you want to see any of these videos behind the scenes or music videos or just get more info about the band, tell them where they can find this stuff.
Stay tuned. It'll all be on, whether it'll be on YouTube, and our YouTube page is just youtube.com/Eugene Levy Band. And you can find it on Facebook, Cooper Hopkins Visuals. It'll be all up, anywhere you want to see it. So obviously, go to YouTube if you want to see anything regarding music videos, as well as some of the songs are on there as well, lyric videos, all the behind-the-scenes stuff will be all premiered on YouTube. We'll place it later on Facebook.
So we'll talk next about studio life and what it's like in the studio, working in the studio. But let's talk about one of the things. I asked you to give me a couple questions so I would have some inside stuff, and one of them was, what is a Rivas and why does every band need one? And I immediately thought, they've got their own tequila or something. They've got like a brand of liquor I don't even know about.
I wish the song name came up. I'm pretty sure David Rivas hit up Brian, or Brian was talking to David Rivas like, you need to name a song after me. And so Brian was like, well, what if we named a song, Every Band Needs a Rivas? And it just fit for that song, because that song is just about the first time I met David Rivas, we were at a bar and he gave me a beer. He just knew I was a friend with Brian and gave me a beer. And that's what the song is about. It's giving back to your friends and just being there for one another.
But I've noticed that he is very steady in his work. He's been off stage all day. He's protecting your guitar.
He's literally been holding it for an hour.
He's still holding it right now.
For an hour.
He's just he's just running his hand up and along the neck.
I love what he does.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
And he takes good care of it.
And a lot of shows that we do, he goes to all of them, by the way. I mean, if he can go to them, he goes to them. So he's a guy that helps with loading in, loading out, keeping us hydrated on stage.
Lack thereof.
And that's why every band does need a Rivas. So if you guys don't have one, please find one. David can probably give you a list of some of his family members that may be interested. If not, sorry, we've got the only one.
business.
So,
There you go.
yep, absolutely
Perfect.
right.
Family business.
Yep.
All right, now we got to hear the song. We're here at Muscatine Community College in the Channel 9 studios. Let's hear it right now with Eugene Levy.
Let's do it.
I'm broke down and burnt out. I'm so sick of the sound of them telling me there's nothing left in my bank account. But these words they mean nothing to me. One day I'll be rich, one day I'll be free. Maybe I'll win the lottery. Then I'd spend all my money on all my friends and family. We'd be easy living. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'd buy a brand new car, take everyone out to dinner, buy out the party, the things that I know that I've never been able to afford. Quit my job, pay my rent, make up for all the time I spent slaving hours for subpar pay. If I win the lottery, it's gonna end today. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you've always had me. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you've always had me. Be strong, hold on. Don't forget where you came from. You're as happy with nothing in your pocket than as if you had money. You may not be able to afford all that you need, but as long as you got your friends, there's no need to win the lottery. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you've always had me. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you've always had me. So since this is a live stream, I thought we'd do something a little different during the break here. So just roll with me. Dreams of waking up at 5 a.m. in a penthouse in Manhattan. You know what they say, this love's blind. That's why I've never seen these things happen. I wasn't supposed to be here today, but what can I say? I'm Dante, I'm just trying to get paid, but I never saved a penny. Friends, I have many, and one day I'm gonna win the lottery. I needed you all around, no matter what I've said. I needed you. With you, I don't feel down, no matter what I've said. I needed you. I needed you all around, no matter what I've said. I needed you. With you, I don't feel down, no matter what I've said. I needed you. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you've always had me. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you've always had me. We're going out tonight, everything's on me for the rest of our lives. For the first time in my life, I've got you like you had me. Like you had me.
We're back at Muscatine Access Channel 9 here at Muscatine Community College, thanks to Muscatine Power and Water. I'm Kevin Walker from 93.1 The Buzz. It's like, I would almost call it like an evening or an afternoon with Eugene Levy. We're just hanging out. This has been fun. I'm really enjoying this.
Super laid back, super cool.
It's
Yeah.
always cool to see somebody, you can listen to music, but when you're like 4 feet away from a band playing live, to me, I miss that. And we haven't had that
Authentic.
in
It's great.
forever.
Started playing music.
Yeah, there's just a feel to it.
Can't be replaced.
At least for me, as a guy, and I also, for years have been a concert photographer, so I'm used to being able to be in the pit and
man.
be that close,
Sure.
and there's that vibe. But
Sure.
so there's that vibe on stage, there's that vibe of live. What's the vibe like in a studio when you're recording? Because you guys take that real seriously. Or maybe not. Maybe you don't. Maybe it's all jokes.
For me, it is because I'm the most mellow guy.
You are the mellow guy.
Right. So
you're the
yeah. So I'm
jokester.
real loose. I'm real loose.
No intensity.
All jokes aside, it's I'm quite anal and serious about how the tracks come together, how things sound, that sort of thing. When I track guitars or when I write the instruments to a song, it's a feel in the moment sort of thing. The riff, I start out with a riff, and it's a very simple riff, 3-chord, 4-chord riff. If it catches my ear and it sounds catchy without a vocal melody, typically when I write a riff, I have a melody in mind, but I leave it all to him, right? So if it has that melody in mind, the vocal melody kind of in my head, then I know it's going to be okay for Brian to do his thing. So I go and record a couple of demos at a time. I present them to Brian and the guys, and they decide, hey, this one is what I feel, has some energy to it. It has some feeling to it. And once we do that, he writes his lyrics to it. The guys write their own parts to that demo. And then we'll, at that point, schedule a time to go in as a full band to record it, live drums, live bass, everything. When I go and demo a track, it's just me, Sam Nelson, and he does everything MIDI. So MIDI drums, MIDI bass, and all that good stuff. And I kind of write some leads to it. I kind of do a couple of different things to kind of bring some life to it. But afterwards, everybody does their own little take on it and puts the Brian Wilson to it. They put the Nick Himes to it. They put the Travis to it. And everybody kind of brings Levy together. Yeah. And then so it all comes to life in the final stage of the studio with Aaron.
Which the end of it is just me and Aaron sitting there working on harmonies and working on melody.
Yep.
So not knowing knowing a little bit about it, but not enough. So you guys never ever record anything where the whole band is all playing at the same time.
In the final stages it is kind of, right? So Brian goes in on his own. He works better alone when he's with
Singers
the engineer.
They're divas.
They're divas and they're weird.
Got to be on their own.
Yeah. So what'll happen?
Nervous.
Yeah, he's just nervous. You know what I mean? So we just leave him and do what he does because that brings out the best of him.
Yeah.
When it's just him and the engineer, he doesn't have to worry about us looking at him or this and that, and it just comes alive in the final recording. And so we leave it at that. Me, Brian Wilson, Nick Himes, and Travis will all go in and we'll record together. Travis will sit the drummer will sit with me while I'm tracking guitars. Aaron's editing, and he'll say, "Hey, this is where I see this. I'm doing this. Fill in this part. I think this should be more of a this in the guitars." And so it's a very back and forth a lot of editing, a lot of thought process and stuff behind the scenes. Nick comes in, lays that bass down after me and Travis have done our thing with the structure.
Yep.
He'll come in and lay his bass parts down, and then we leave it at that. Brian goes in on his own date, and once his vocals are finalized and we lay it all down, Aaron does his magic and mixes it all together, and that's what you guys hear on the radio.
Which is that final mix down. You're right. It's what you hear on the radio. You came in a couple days ago to the radio station. We were talking, and we were just listening to some demo things and showing me some stuff. And because I don't ever get to hear it stripped down, where I can hear Nick's bass, I can hear vocals, I can hear isolated guitars.
Yep.
It was interesting to hear that. Not only am I like, ooh, hey, because that's initially what I thought. These are a great band. They got a great song. Am I going to hear anything else from them that I'm going to love? Now I'm like, I can't wait for the next. I'm telling you, you're going to be excited. The next stuff that's going to come out, we'll talk about that in a minute. But just to sit and listen to those demos with you and have them stripped out to where
they're refined.
It's amazing though, like to listen to something and I'm like, oh, I hear it. I hear what you're talking about.
The demos are refined,
I get
buddy.
it.
Yes, sir.
I get where you're going with
Absolutely.
it.
And then we finally have time, or I have time to sit there and think of a cool melody. The melody for the new one, I wrote 3 or 4 melodies before I found the one that I liked. And that was right for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, he went in to demo the vocals. What you heard the other day was all demoed. He went into Sam Nelson and did his own with Sam just alone, and laid down a few different things. We just, he decided, we all decided afterwards, hey, this is pop. I mean, this is great. This thing pops. It's catchy. You know what I mean? So the bass and the drums were all MIDI. You know what I mean? So it's done on the computer. It's not real. Travis will go in and be like, hey, I love this groove. I'm going to do this differently. Puts his own spin on it. Nick will do his own spin on it. Brian will put his own little leads and whatnot into it that kind of fill this track out. So it's all a foundation, man. Without a solid foundation, these songs don't come to life like they do, right? You know, like Mankind and such. Sure. So we really refine in the studio and take a lot of time before we really put something out.
So tell me what's next for the band. Where are you going from here? Obviously, you've heard songs that they've played today. We've got one more track. You're going to love it. And then from there, where are you going next?
In 2 days from now, 2 or 3 days from now, like the recording of this, I'm actually finishing up the vocals, going up and doing the lead vocals for our next song. And I'm actually really excited on this new song. Not all the time am I that excited, and I feel really like stoked. I feel like it's exactly where we want to be going. The melody is exactly where I want it to be. Sam Nelson helped me so much with the chorus. He helped me so much, like making sure it fit my voice and sounded good. And so I'm really excited to go in and finish this up with Aaron. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, and I think it sounds different. You heard the demo.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a different take than what Mankind is. Mankind was very in your face. However, the lyrics were very, very, very relatable to a lot of people. Yeah. This here, I think, this new single is going to bring more of that pop rock side into us. It still is. It's still edgy and has the heavy guitar, you know, the guitar riffs and such. But it's a different element of Levy for sure. It's not softer. It's not any of that. I think it's just a more refined Levy, and I think it's a more it's a catchier Levy. I think we're going to the point to where this is kind of how we wanted to sound from the beginning, and now we're starting
it's
to
an evolution. But
absolutely.
It's not a departure. And to me, it's very similar. It's just another step. So
without
that's
question.
why I'm excited about it.
Absolutely.
Because you're right. A demo. You're like, dude, it's the demo. It's going to sound better. I'm like, this is great. You're like, wait till you hear the final
You
mix.
could release a demo and nobody would know.
Exactly.
Nobody would know that this is not regular quality.
And that's because Sam Nelson is the man.
He's the man, absolutely. So we have a great team with us that helps us along the way. Kevin, thanks to you for playing our tracks on 93.1. I love everything that you do. Access 9, thank you so much for letting us come in today. Yeah, I mean, we're excited for the future, and we're not letting this pandemic stop us. And
do you know where this song title came from? I'm going to ask you a question.
Do you understand life?
Do you understand life? Do you know where it came from?
It's way too short for you, so I don't know.
That is true.
I don't know. I'm afraid to even ask.
Have you ever heard of the movie called The Room?
I have.
It is a direct quote from The Room.
Okay. I've never seen it. I've heard of the movie.
You
but
gotta
I've never
watch
seen
it. Sometime you come over, we'll have a beer or something, and we gotta watch The Room.
All right.
Okay, he's like, do you understand life? Do you?
And then you'd be like, oh, wow, that's where the song
It's kind of funny because early when we got here a couple hours ago and Brian was tuning up his guitar and I just went over, I'm like, do you even play guitar?
Yeah, he did say that.
And he's
As a
like,
matter of fact, that might be the next song title.
There you
Brian,
go.
do you even play guitar?
Well, let's hear it. This is the last track. So tell everyone one more time where they can find you, and if they're looking for merchandise, you want to get something that's customized, wear a sweatshirt, a shirt, if they want to pick up something.
Yeah, I mean, we're on Shopify now. We're about to launch our new merch through Shopify. We were on Bandcamp before, so we're going on a new platform. So go on our website, EugeneLevyBand.com. You can find everything there from our music, social media pages, where we're playing next, all that good stuff. So look forward to that, and YouTube obviously for all the videos, songs, behind-the-scene footage, that sort of thing. So yeah, we're really excited.
Perfect. Did you notice we got through the entire day without me asking where the name of the band came from? I was like, I'm not going to ask where the band, because like that's got to be the most obvious question everyone
like
asks
it
all the
is.
time.
See
If you
from the-
can't tell where the band name is from, then you've never seen any movies as a
Ever.
teenager.
Ever.
And even now, the dude is more famous now than he was when we named the band.
That's true. Schitt's Creek came out, and it was like, wow, people are nonstop talking about it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, man, American Pie, obviously. So there you guys go. That's where we got the name from. And yeah.
All right, I want to thank the guys in the band, off stage, on stage. We've heard some great music. So check them out online. Let's hear one more song, Do You Understand Life, from a movie I've never seen, but I got to go watch now. I'm going to come over to your place. We'll watch it.
Yeah.
It's a good
Shout out
movie.
to everyone here at Muscatine Access Channel 9, including Chad and Jeremy and the crew. Cooper's in here shooting video. We're having a good time. Listen for the tracks, not only Mankind, but new ones coming up on 93.1 The Buzz. Let's enjoy one last song here.
Thanks again.
Hello, I'm Eugene Levy, and yes, I'm an actor. No, I said cappuccino. I'm here to talk to you about something very important. No, it's not about me or my career. I'm here to talk about subliminal messages in rock and roll music, or as it's simply known in some cultures, rock music.
Shout out to 93.1 The Buzz. We're on the Aural Xam Stage. This will be our last song. I wanna spend a night in sipping beer, taking oxygen from this stress. I confess I'm a mess. Can we define success for me? It means I'm the happiest when I let go of all these thoughts in my head. Hang with friends till tomorrow. I wanna spend a night in sipping beer, taking oxygen from this stress. Stress. I wanna live my life the only way I know how. Get drunk, pass out with my friends on the couch. What else is there for us to do now? Life is short, and so is my time left here. As I grab another beer, with these moments I have left, I wanna live my life the only way I know how. Oh, oh. Wanna fall in love, kiss in the rain. Growing old with you is everything. Or we could die young, solidify with youth that we have left in empty bottles of rum. Let go of all these thoughts in my head, hang with friends till tomorrow. I wanna spend a night in sipping beer, taking oxygen from this stress. Stress. I wanna live my life the only way I know how. Get drunk, pass out with my friends on the couch. What else is there for us to do now? Life is short, and so is my time left here. As I grab another beer, with these moments I have left now. Living life the only way that we know that we can. No context, no plan, get drunk every weekend. Hanging out with my best friends, hope the party never ends. We'll just keep on drinking till 5 a.m. Could fill my cup, Levy got me messed up. If you're feeling how I'm feeling better, put your hands up. I don't really care if you don't like me. I got everybody that I need just right beside me. Show up to the party, 5 a.m. in Eugene, Levy. Throwing back some Bacardi, switch it up with some whiskey like. Fill my cup, mess me up, let's do this night right. Fill my cup, mess me up, let's do this night right. Let go of all these thoughts in my head, hang with friends till tomorrow. Let go of all these thoughts in my head, hang with friends till tomorrow. I wanna live my life the only way I know how. Get drunk, pass out with my friends on the couch. What else is there for us to do now? I wanna spend a night in sipping beer, taking oxygen from this stress. Stress. Once again, I want to say thank you to 93.1 The Buzz. And we are on the Aural Xam Sound Stage. Thank you so much, Channel 9.